Something that I've been operating a lot from lately has been my intuition. And basically, if you don't know what intuition is, it's essentially your gut feeling or your sixth sense, or really something that you just sort of know without any conscious or cognitive ability to do so. The best way that I can describe it is that it just feels right, right? When you intuit something, right? When you use your intuition, something just clicks and it just feels like it's meant to be or it's meant to happen. And I think there's a big shift happening, right? It's very subtle, but what I've begun to notice, and maybe it's just me becoming more in tune with my own intuition, but people are starting to make the shift from a purely logical, intellectual, capacity to think about things into a more intuitive, feeling-based way of knowing things. And I believe this is actually the start of a new evolution of the human species, right? I think this is just and I think these are the seeds that are being planted so that in the next couple hundred years, right, maybe a couple thousand years, we are essentially going to be emerging as a new form of species, which has a higher intelligence. And that centerpiece of that is going to be our ability to use our intuition, right? Use our sixth sense. And very few people already have this ability. People who are able to sense things where most people can, like psychics and mediums. And the way that I would like to describe where intuition comes from is that it comes from a part of yourself that always knows who you truly are at your core. And at the metaphysical level, I believe that this ability to intuit originates from your soul, which means that we all have this ability, right? We all have the ability to use our intuition for things, but most of us have forgotten how to use it, and most of us have never been taught how to use it. I know for a very long time, I had no ability to use my intuition, right? At least not what I thought. I didn't even know such a thing existed. But what happened was that I started to learn how to listen to that part. I started to learn how to sense that part of myself. And it's led me to make this video for you today, right? To teach you how to listen to your own intuition. And I can guarantee you that once you listen to it and once you hear it once, right, your first time, you are always going to want to start listening to it, right? You're always going to want to start trying to hear it. And it's not hard to do, right? It's not hard to learn how to use your intuition, but it can be challenging. The biggest challenge that you will face is learning to trust yourself, right? Learning to trust your feelings and trust how you actually feel. That's the biggest roadblock that I see and that I have personally gone through is that many times self-doubt will creep in, right? You'll question whether or not you're actually hearing your intuition or if it's just a random thought or a random feeling. But I will tell you right now that no thought and no feeling is ever random, and that there is a deep sense of knowing inside of you, right? Inside of everybody. It might not be a conscious knowing, right? It might be mostly unconscious until you bring it up to the surface of consciousness. And the way that you do that is you develop the practice of listening to yourself, listening to the deepest parts of yourself, the deepest parts of your psyche, and taking very seriously the notion that all of the answers that you're looking for, all of the answers to all the questions that you have, all of them can be found from within if you listen closely enough. And this is a practice that's literally just like going to the gym and lifting weights, right? The more you do of it, the better that you will get doing it. And I want to share some questions that will help you along your journey. One of these questions is, what is my intuition telling me? Right? What is my intuition telling me? And this is a really great one because it allows your intuition to come forth. So you can sit with that question and then just start to notice, what are the thoughts that are coming up in my mind? And along with that, what are the feelings? What are the bodily sensations that I'm feeling somatically in my body? And that feeling in your body is going to tell you whether or not you are on the right track. You might feel it in your gut, right? That's why they call it a gut feeling, right? You might feel some tingling throughout your body. I know for me, it starts as almost kind of like an ASMR vibration through my head and my spine, but start to pay attention, start to tune into your body, right? Start to become aware of the sensations that you feel. Because really, at the end of the day, our body is an extension of our mind, right? Our unconscious mind. And if you're feeling stuck or lost in life, another great question is, what is my intuition telling me to do next? Right? What is my intuition telling me to do next? And I want to stress the importance of learning how to trust yourself here, because this is where a lot of people mess up, is maybe their intuition tells them to do something that is the complete opposite of what they consciously think that they should do. I'm just going to use my life as an example, right? Let's say that you're in the middle of a career transition and you are debating whether or not you should go back immediately to work, right? Find a job, or to take some time off, right? And consciously, you feel like you should go back to work. You feel like you should start to do things, start to make money because you feel the pressure from society. You feel like if you're not doing anything, then you're being unproductive or that you're useless, right? And every inch of your fiber is fighting you against, just taking a break and relaxing. And I use that as an example because my intuition told me that I should take a break. And, there are parts of myself, parts of my mind that have been conditioned to feel that if I am not working or I'm not doing anything, quote unquote productive, then I'm just wasting my time. So there can be this internal conflict, right? There can be this battle that goes inside of your head, which is why it's important to start to understand and start to cultivate self-trust. And it's okay if you don't get an answer right away, right? It's okay if you don't feel anything or nothing is really happening. It does take some time, especially if you've never ever really used your intuition in order to essentially shake off the cobwebs, right, of that process. So I would repeat back those questions that I posed uh, throughout the day, right? Different parts of the days while you're going through different activities, right? Maybe when you're showering, maybe when you're reading a book, maybe when you're eating dinner, or waking up for the first time, right? And then just go through that same process of tuning into your mind and tuning into your body even more specifically, and just start to take note of what's going on, right? What you're feeling. And I promise you, if you stick to doing that, you are going to feel something. You are going to feel a sixth sense, right? If you're religious, spiritual, you might feel that this message is coming straight from God, your soul, the universe, whatever it is. When you have that feeling, remember it, right? Because that's your intuition communicating with you. I hope that was helpful for you guys. I honestly love talking about this stuff, right? Blending spirituality with psychology, with the way that our minds and our bodies work. So if you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to leave in the comments and I will talk to you soon.